Hey, so how are you doing? Well, I'm back on, and I've been having a hard time with the blog with not knowing how to handle this with the messages that come at me. I certainly don't want to discourage people from messages, but I have a hard, like, I don't do this. This is just a fun thing. It's a big passion that's, as me being somebody that's like nearing 50 and still being vibrant and that expresses itself in a number of ways. I don't always look my best every day, but I'm pretty overall happy with just the way that I found longevity and youth and whatnot. And so the other way that expresses itself big time is in my creativity, which I personally feel most people definitely lose by the time they're 35. Somebody sent me asking about Mega Hydrate. That's a supplement that David Wolf is definitely pushing. I haven't tried it yet. I definitely want to because I definitely have hydration problems. And I can really, really see the difference of when I'm drinking. And it is a problem for me. And a part of it is actually revealed in my Chinese element. I'm pure wood. I'm very tall. I'm very skinny. I have all just pure. And some people within these 5 elements, they have kind of like borderline or cusp things, like a little bit of both. I'm really pure wood, and so it makes perfect sense that I have issues with dehydration because basically at most trees, especially a big classic tree, hardly the more water the better for them for the most part. There's only a few trees that anyways. So that's a Mega Hydrate. Very interested in that. No, I haven't tried it. The deer antler issue that was up in the last video, I do want to definitely inform. There is a huge, most of the people I know of and most of the people I know of that use deer antler and most of the people I know of, gurus, people like Truth Calkins, David Wolf, other distributors that I deal with, Dragon Herbs, Jing Herbs, New Zealand deer antler. Those people all get their deer antler from the same place, which is in New Zealand. And I already know, I've seen George Lamoureux did a personal crusade before his company Jing Herbs started carrying deer antler. They did a personal crusade there to see firsthand how the deer were treated. And trust me, these deer are treated like royalty. There's probably no deer taken better care of. And just so you know, people that are sort of pulling this Trump with the sort of vegan extremism about, oh, the animals and this kind of stuff, and again, the thing I want to say is I do have a, you see this? I was once a card-carrying vegan. I thought that the whole just being vegan, anybody that was not inside that world, that was basically the poison. Or just, what the root of all evil, every group has their thing that they hate, and that's like, so, I just, that there's a lot of speculation that we need bits of these things, and on the deer antler, there is just a nerve regrowth, that's like unparalleled, there's, and again, this is an animal product, but, and I'm sure that there is somewhere in the world, in China probably, there is an unethical people who I'm sure of it. So, but again, that doesn't mean that all deer antler use should be discontinued because, and again, another person that sells antler is that's in the world that I didn't mention is Sir Thrival, Daniel Vitalis. He's same ethical procedure. So yeah, and that's a big one for pain. And another one I wanted to mention that I didn't in that one. A big one with pain is medical marijuana. That was what got me out of the whole world of just coming home and crying a little bit every night from dealing with the pain. Is you see what happens with pain is it eventually works into your sleep to where you don't sleep enough when you're in pain, and so the sleep deprivation is actually, you follow the cycle. And so what happened for me is basically I'd stopped smoking weed altogether for a long time. And then somebody gave me some pot at work. And again, this is a world where drugs flow, where I worked in the construction industry being a surveyor, so not unusual for that to happen, or for somebody to... Anyways, that's how I came across it, and I thought, well, I haven't done this in a long time. and I smoked it when I got home from work, and I slept the best I'd slept, and I got up and I smoked some more and I went back to sleep. And I pretty much slept that whole weekend, and the next day when I was at work on Monday, I didn't have the pain in my feet. So there's things, and see, people have these, like marijuana is another thing where people just, they get up. Same with this deer antler thing, they just get up in arms and they're not even like thinking about the whole deal, you know? It's a simple thing. So, and you know, at my root, I'm vegan, and so people go, oh, well, that's, you know, that's like an extreme, like, how can you be vegan if you're like, you're doing this or you're doing that? It's just like, how I eat that stuff is as supplements, and it's like what I prefer food, and basically, you know, I don't know what some of the people who are advocates, like if, say for example, Zach is like definitely doing some brilliant research on, you know, all of the sort of nutrients that are available in organ meat and all this kind of stuff. I don't know how much he's eating in a day, but I find that the amount that I'm eating of basically being at my root a raw vegan, of eating, you know, some ghee, some eggs, that just makes me a sort of a vegetarian person. And then now I'm not really eating those quantities of meat when my hormones were gone. And I'm not attracted to that. And so my thing is just like, I just think it needs to be augmented a little. And again, there's plenty of evidence out there, you know, and I want to say I respect people that are like, want to do this, but a lot of the vegan card-carrying sort of people that get up in arms are in their 30s. And the thing that I found with this, and this is like beating a dead horse again with this, of talking about this more or less, there's this anger that comes in when you deprive the human brain on this vegan diet. And the Weston A. Price Foundation, that's how I first found out about it, was in an interview with Sally Fallon. And I wound up becoming this really, just in general, without going through the story, is the and you see this in the sort of vegan people where they just get like, you know, and I've never been more at peace since I started, you know, of being genuinely and having more of this empathy and of understanding another person's position and stuff like that. So, okay, so here's why I stopped looking at people and trying to assume I know that I knew something from the way they looked, because you never know. So, here's a comment from somebody this is the way you're a guy who appears to spend a lot of time inside without spending a lot of time in the wood like the deers do. Blah, blah, blah. Though no fault of your own, you're doing your best in the environment you find yourself. However, if you want true peace of mind of a deer, you should go check out the woods. Oh my God. Well, I don't know what looks. I shoot all my videos inside. Yeah, I know I should shoot some outside, but boy, have you got the wrong impression on that. I generally twice, sometimes 3 times a day, I'm out in the woods. In fact, my backyard is the woods. No, you're way off with that one. I usually get up first thing in the morning, early in the morning. I like to get up 5 at the latest, kind of. I love to be up as the sun's coming up. And I'm usually, you know, I walk to a place that's a deep canyon, and, you know, I've always been heavily into the woods, and I'm exactly what you talk about. I'm a big advocate of that. So, anyways. You know, Rui 27, and I did want to like bring this up to somebody. I am a very out there and rather public figure when it comes to HIV, and stuff has spread around about me, and there's other stuff that the David Wolf people have put out with me, asking questions. I want to tell you, there are a lot of people that claim that they've helped people get over HIV, and if anybody should know somebody else, or if somebody would, what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is I have never met anybody that has actually had success. I mean, the person. I know a lot of people who talk about it, They're not the ones with HIV. They talk about knowing someone. So that's your quick answer to that, Rui 27. You know, I'll crack this code one of these days, and there's some great information coming up on. This is another one that I could do a video on all by itself. Yeah, so it is pretty interesting, really, in the way that most people think, and I just do want to address this of just people that I really think that more people ought to be really listening. I'm kind of like the only one that's of my age, and that's like I'm kind of little, even with HIV and all of that stuff, I'm still like pretty much doing well, and I'm sort of being at this near 50. I'll be 49 in May. Some people ought to be more interested in, and I'm not proceeding from any scientific view. I take some science stuff, like soy, for example. I'm simply, I've eaten lots of soy in my life, and they're saying now soy is shit, and so it's like I haven't really noticed, like I can't, like I've even gone and eaten a little bit of soy here and there, and it's like, I don't really get that that's bad for you, but like what's out there with the long-term side effects, maybe I should pay attention to that. So soy is not that important for me. But then there's a lot of soy that's eaten in Japan and China and other Asian countries, and so perhaps there's other things about them that we're not paying attention to that has nothing to do with food, maybe. So a big thing with people in all these belief systems is just they're not really interested in hearing something new or something revealing or learning something new. They go to these things because they want to hear what they know. They kind of want to, like, they want somebody that's going to sort of reinforce this list of rules. And so people are on this idealistic vegan thing, as they're all mostly 30-something. And I will point out a few of these people, but not in this one, that are just these people that are like 30-something that are thriving. And it's just like, you won't, you know. And so once all that Jing reserve is gone, you know, you can go back to my videos and you could maybe listen to it instead of like fighting me on this subject. And it's like, I'm not trying to be a big advocate of like going back to a standard American diet. It's a small amount, and it's just people are so into this black or white thinking. So musical tip, you know, I mostly don't like rock bands, and it's not really anything to do with the rock format. It's just because it's like kind of the same boring crap. But really, essentially, the rock band hasn't really changed that much since Elvis or Buddy Holly with the invention of that style. So when something like this comes along, and let me just tell you, this is the Omar Rodriguez-Lopez group, and I'm very much into this family of people. This is his brother, that's the keyboard guy that's playing with the back to the drummer. That is Omar's brother Marcel. I'm into a band called Zex Marquise that I'm just love what these people are doing with rock music. It's not that I hate rock music. It's just that most rock music is not creative. It's just complete rehash. And this, for me, this, just like the way this band is set up right here, and this happened in 2010 in Los Angeles, and then there was a show that was maybe a week later in New York that had the same kind of lineup. This just makes me really happy. This does stuff with music that makes me feel everything, that makes me feel sexual, that makes me feel intellectual and spiritual and weird and grounded and all of that. So this is actually a bunch of music just rammed together. It's in the middle. I recognize a piece of music called Poincare off of one of Omar's albums. In this group of shows, this is known as the second jam, and they're all in this black and white formula. But the one I'm recommending is the Omar Rodriguez-Lopez group with Omar's girlfriend singing, who's a Mexican pop star. Jimena something, I forget her name. Anyways, later on.